Welcome into the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show. Glenn Clark, Kyle Ottenheimer, but more importantly now, the star of the show, Mr. Ken Zalis, Pressbox Fantasy Football expert. I thought you were coming in to say hey to Q because you're like old buddies or something.
I was going to try, but it's a crazy couple of weeks for me in my real job.
Oh, okay.
You know, got these homecoming things to plan, videos to make.
I see.
You know, it just didn't work out.
Well, it's good to chat with you. By the way, you telling me that you don't think he could still play at 39 years old?
Absolutely.
There's no doubt in my mind that he could still do it. We want to welcome Smythe Jewelers to the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show. Glad to have them on board. She's a perfect fit, your fantasy draft pick of all time, but can you close the deal? The answer is yes, when you propose with an engagement ring hand-selected by the coaches at Smythe. Smythe Jewelers, let the end zone dance commence. 4 bye weeks this week, so a little bit more issues there for some people. I'll start with tonight.
Yes.
If you're a Saquon owner, if you were a Gallman owner in Saquon's stead, or just because you're trying to steal something, is there any value at all in John Hillman playing tonight against the Patriots?
He's going to get 15 touches. I very honestly, I mean, I liked him coming out of college, but we don't know. I mean, the Patriots defense has been really, really good. If you're desperate, I mean, there are teams that are desperate out there.
Sure.
You know, you look around the NFL at running back, and you know, all of a sudden you woke up yesterday and you're like, okay, McCaffrey didn't practice. He's dealing with something. David Johnson didn't practice. He's dealing with a back issue. They're talking about Gurley like he died or something and talking about all this depth.
Really weird.
It's really weird because I don't think he was really injured. But, you know, and then all of a sudden you're looking at like...
And not like I dropped Malcolm Brown last week and like...
well, it's like we all did because it's like, oh, yeah, this is what we thought and things like that. So there are situations out there that you need to use Hillman. I have somebody who asked me today, you know, am I starting Hillman or am I waiting on Chase Edmonds?
And that's the tricky part.
And I'm
this.
like, I play a little bit conservative. I'm not waiting on Chase Edmonds to see if David Johnson doesn't play. So what if David Johnson plays and Chase Edmonds gets 5 touches? So you play Hillman. Is there value? Here's the value. Let's hope it's 21-0 in midway through the second quarter, and he gets 5 dump-off passes and goes for 70 yards, and that's what you have to hope for. You hope, you know, that it's a blowout early, not late. You know, it's not 7-0 at the half, and neither offense is doing anything, as we've seen on Thursday night.
Sure.
Although the last 2 have been really good games. Let's have more of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's going to be a running back 3. In most rankings this week. I don't really remember where I put him, but I can't see it being any worse than a running back 3 at this point for him, and that's where I have him, running back 3.
A couple of guys had monster weeks last week.
Do you think? I think I faced all of them on your team.
Well, who did I have? I had Fuller, right? And I had maybe Hopkins. Is that who I had?
I had everybody.
I'm going to start specifically with Fuller, right? Like, does a week like that make you say now, like, kind of no matter what? I'd say no matter, but you get what I mean. In most reasonable situations, you're playing Will Fuller.
You are. The first thing it made me do is check if I had him anywhere and see what I could get for him.
Okay.
If I could flip Will Fuller to a disgruntled Beckham owner, I'll probably do that right now. Even though I know the Beckham situation is what it is, but yeah, I mean that offense has decided they're just going to throw the ball all over the place again, and that their best player obviously is Deshaun Watson, and he's right now. Fuller is a wide receiver too, so he's starting every single week. You look at the matchup this week; it's terrific. You go and start him.
What about Aaron Jones?
I mean, he's been a must start anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to go. He's not going to go for 3 touchdowns like that every week and go crazy. But I mean, he's been a must start, especially with Jamal Williams on the shelf last week especially, and with what he's done, he's at worst in any given week a high running back 2. You plug him in, you play him, and that's the way we are with running backs right now. If you can find that guy, I mean, they're throwing the ball out of the backfield. There's really little out there.
It is really hard to find anything that will get you more than 6 points projected from a running back if you were in peril this week.
Yeah, it's not good out there. It's really not, because I'm in a couple of leagues where I've just one league where I'm struggling, and it's a money league, and I've decided I made all these trades just because I'm tired of there being absolutely nothing. I also went and picked up every backup I could. Bohannon, Edmonds, Brown that were available.
You mean Bonifon?
Bonifon, whatever. Okay, you know what I mean.
Tommy Bohannon's a fullback.
I know. But, you go out. I mean, those are the types of moves that you need to make if you're struggling, because there's really not much out there.
It is super thin when you're looking for something that can
and then you have situations like, Tampa. Which running back this week is going to be the star?
Right.
Jones or Barber? As soon as we think it's Jones, it's Barber. Everybody's up in arms. I keep on it's coming, but the Lindsey Freeman thing isn't going away. Even weeks that Lindsey is performing, it is a 50-50 split in the number of catches, the number of rushes. They are on the field an even amount of time. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating when you're looking at your flex spot and there's got to be better out there, and then you look and you're like, wow, there's no better out there. This is the time to make trades if you can, but I'm looking down my top 25 or so, 26. The only guy in the top 30 that could be on a waiver wire would be Kenyon Drake. He's the only guy, and we think that I picked up Mark Walton in a couple of places because he seemed like he passed Ballage, and he may get a couple of touches. It's hard out there, and if you are going from if your running backs are weak and you're strong at wide receiver or tight end, I just did this. I just traded Kelsey for Josh Jacobs straight up. Because my other tight end?
Other tight end, I have 2 of them. I have Everett and I have Hawkinson. But my second running back was Justice Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long am I going to play this game? And as good as Kelsey is, it's more of a standard league. So I'm looking for touchdowns. He's not scoring touchdowns.
Well, other than that, everything's great.
Everything's
man.
great.
Other than that, everything is great in the world of fantasy football. This is why when you guys were making fun of me for the idea that I was going to hold Kareem Hunt all year, no, I'm going to hold Kareem Hunt all year. In hopes, because it's such slim pickings.
You're gonna hold him until there's 6 teams on by in 2 weeks, and you're like,
I'm already panicked. What am
I doing now?
I was trying to do the Antonio Brown bit in one league, and I finally had to give up on that this week because I was like, I can't keep doing this.
There was somebody that tweeted me. It's like, what should I do with Antonio Brown? I was like, drop him 2 weeks ago. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, hold him if you've got the spot. It's always the case.
Yeah, if you got the spot.
If you've got the spot, why not? Why wouldn't you hold him?
If you're 4-1, 5-0, and you're like, okay, we're planning for playoffs. If you don't think your team's going in, on an 0-for-6 run here, then yeah, sure, why not?
Right,
but there's very few teams out there like that.
Oh, it's just the reality of what we're dealing with at this point. I tell you what, we're gonna get into questions here in a second. I have a bunch of it seems like for whatever reason, a ton of different questions related to the Giants, and we keep talking. I think it's just because the game's tonight. And you're in this spot where you have to do something, right?
Well, that's the thing. Who are we waiting? Which hurt player are you waiting for? Where I could put Hillman or Tate in tonight,
right? And the other frustrating part, I think, is for people with the Patriots who are like, I own all of these Patriots, and I have no idea if any of them are going to be any value. A week ago, we were all picking up Ben Watson.
We were.
How'd that work out?
It worked out great.
Not at all.
I was so happy to hear that news.
So
happy.
Why?
Because I must have owned him in 8 leagues.
Oh, you're doing that. I see.
I'm a little bit
being a little facetious. I see what you're doing. That you went out and you were scrambling to get Ben Watson.
Yeah. Oh, and then the great news is, guess who I picked up instead of Ben Watson? Chris Herndon. That's working out great.
Well too.
Why was Will Dissly on the waiver wire in the Press Box Fantasy League? Managed to get him with the 6th claim.
I think
Why?
I don't know if that's the league that I picked him up in last week. In one of the leagues, I needed a tight end for a week, and I picked him up because I had Kittle on a bye.
I don't know who dropped him.
It might have been.
I don't know who dropped him, but I put in a waiver wire request too, and I don't need a tight end. But
I needed one. Definitely.
It might have been me, but if it was because I had him the week before, only because Kittle was on a bye, and I was able to get him with a low spot on the waiver wire priority order.
Maybe it was you. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
I just need the roster spot, and George Kittle's going to be my tight end. So
thank you.
It's what it. Enjoy Will Disley.
Really, I know.
I'm not going to play him.
Have a top 7 tight end
please.
for free.
Are you going to play him over George Kittle?
Not this week.
That's what I'm saying.
I know
that.
that.
Like, what am I going to do? I
would have traded him to somebody.
It's too much effort for me. I got to make some crappy offer like you always do. I got to have somebody get mad at me about it. I got to do the whole thing.
My offer is so crappy, but yet the guy I wanted still isn't playing.
Who?
Barkley.
Oh, right. Okay, one more week. I got to wait one more week for Saquon Barkley. I'm sure that's not worth it. Dummy.
I don't know what your record is.
You. I'm fine. I'm 4 and whatever.
I just know that you doubled me in points.
Yeah, I kicked your ass over the weekend.
You maybe tripled me at some point.
I don't remember what
I
league.
stopped checking at some point. I was like, okay, could somebody have a 0 on your team?
Nope. I'd prefer not. All right. Last one before we start getting to questions. What do you say to Mike Evans owners?
There's nothing to say. You just got to keep on putting him in your lineup. There's really. What else are you going to do? They're throwing the ball all around. It just, I don't know. You have to really sell me on somebody. I mean, I still have him. I think I have him in my top 15 again this week because I can't. I just can't because I've seen the 2 good games this year already.
Man, I hear you. I get it.
I mean, you can, again, it's like Beckham. You can't trade him,
right?
Because you're not going to get value for him.
Right.
Everybody's going to lowball you. You just and I can't imagine who you're playing over let's say on average, most people start 3 wide receivers in a fantasy football league. I can't imagine who your 3 better than he are.
Are Godwin and Sutton both going to continue to be this valuable?
Godwin for sure. I mean, Godwin was one of those guys that was knocking on the top 15 even pre-draft. Sutton.
Dude's really good.
Sutton's really good. I don't know. I think he's going to be a little bit more up and down, but I mean he's definitely in consideration every week as a top 36 wide receiver.
He's been far better than he's like currently a top 10 guy in half-point PPR. He's only had 1 down game. And it was 4 catches for 40 yards. You know.
I have a problem with their offense because it's so weird. And
I don't disagree with that.
It's just weird the way they do it. I mean, I have Sutton at 25 this week, so I mean he's right there every week right now. I don't know if Tennessee is the team I want to draw the line in the sand of him facing that I have to play Courtland Sutton, but
I played him last week on a bye and it paid off.
Well, yeah, but I mean he's being targeted. The surprising part here is that.
And I think there's also this thought.
It's 7 to 9 targets every single week, and Sanders isn't getting targeted as much, which is just.
Well, but there's also this thought that they might look to trade Emmanuel Sanders, that apparently the Saints have been super interested in Emmanuel Sanders. If that's the case, how much more valuable does that make Courtland Sutton? So
a ton.
Is he somebody that maybe you should be looking at the Courtland Sutton owner in your league and saying, maybe I could pry him away,
absolutely,
with the potential for him to be even more valuable as the year goes on.
100%. You should be looking at things like that right away.
All right. Anybody else that jumps out at you in that department?
I want to say DJ Chark a little bit.
I think people are starting to buy into Chark.
I'm almost there. Like I'm
pretty hard not to be.
I'm almost there. Like I'm using him in DFS this week because it's such a good matchup for him, but. I just so here's my thing with the whole offense, and it's part of my problem with the Gardner Minshew thing. What are we doing in Week 10? And I know, it's only Week 6. We'll worry about Week 10. What are we doing in Week 10 when Foles is back?
You got to stick with Minshew.
You would
assuming it continues at this pace, right?
You would think.
But that's the same. That's the same question in Carolina. Like it's the same.
And Foles threw a touchdown to Shark
it's
in Week 1
not really
anyway.
because they've won some games with Allen not being really good. They did that the other day. I think in Carolina.
I think throwing the football is pretty important, and couldn't do it.
I get it. I don't. I think you have a better chance of Minshew keeping his job over Foles than than Allen keeping it over when he comes back.
And do you think that you're saying? I mean, Shark caught a 35-yard touchdown from Foles.
I know
before Foles got hurt, right?
It's just that it seems like this offense is just more wide open with him, even though they're still running the ball. It's so different. It's just a different feel. I mean, Jacksonville games are boring to watch with Foles, and now they just seem like they're more exciting. I don't know.
All right, Anita, just 1 minute here. When we come back in, we are going to answer your questions. Get them in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Just put them in the comments. We'll get them up with Ken Zalis here on the PressBox Fantasy Football Show.
Dating was hard, but ring shopping was harder. Settings, cuts, color, we were overwhelmed. Then her friend sent us to Smythe. Total game changer. They took the time to show us the ropes. We left with this perfect ring. She still can't take her eyes off it. I'm actually excited to go back for the wedding bands. But don't tell her I said that.
Why is Smythe Jewelers where Marilyn gets engaged? Our collection is hand-selected and comes with a friendly face to help you find the perfect ring for your perfect partner.
Catch all of the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where we have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Enjoy $6.99 burgers on Mondays, $5.99 nachos on Thursdays, and drink specials throughout the season to help you cheer on your favorite teams. Come in today and try something new from our seasonal menu. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Need groceries today but don't have time to shop? Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient.
All right, let's get to it. Questions for Week 6 of fantasy football season. Ken Zalis from Nick Kelly with Ben Watson cut. I'm down to O.J. Howard or Vance McDonald, or do I look for something on the waiver wire?
Oh, you can always look on the waiver wire. I don't know what's there.
I mean, I guess you start with, is either one of those guys worthy of playing?
I have O.J. Howard at 12. Here's the problem. You have 7 tight ends that are worth anything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then after that, you can throw them all in a hat from week to week and pick one out. Cook has a very good matchup against a Jacksonville defense that's given up some points to the tight end position.
Cook.
O.J. Howard. I'm sorry, O.J. had to Carolina, who's given up points. Their secondary is not very good. Their safeties are not good.
But the game is also in London at 9:30 a.m.
And that was my other point. Yeah. And then we have the whole London thing.
Step on his toes a little.
Then we have it is. Sure. I mean, just like, we have the whole London thing, and somebody asked me about McCaffrey, and I'm like, they said he'll play. I was like, yeah, before he gets on a plane and crosses the Atlantic. I mean, I don't know, how comfortable I am.
And by the way, are you going to be awake at 8 o'clock in the morning to double check and make sure that he's definitely playing? That's the other tricky part about this.
I wish I wouldn't be, but yeah, I'll be awake.
I will be awake. I will be awake. Yes.
Okay. Well, that makes. I might be.
There's football. The game starts at 9:30, right?
What's that?
9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. Correct.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. As long as you wake up by 9:30 at the latest, and it's more
9 o'clock.
It's not really about like waking up. Then it's more about like waking up and remembering I have to check to see if my guy is like. It's more about all of those things that I do during the course of the morning. And sometimes, Kyle, the problem is that like the kids wake me up at 6. And then after a little while, I'm like, I'm going to go back and try to lay down.
There are guys out there, with tight end this week that you could see make an impact. The kid Atkins for Houston. Akins. Is it Akins? Atkins. Maybe he's on weight loss. I don't know. Akins.
I don't know anything about him.
He could be, they play Kansas City. Kansas City gives up a lot of yards and doesn't cover the tight end particularly well. You could look at him. Jeff Swaim for Jacksonville. They play New Orleans. Again, struggling against the pass, good against the run. O'Shaughnessy is out for the year. You could go in that direction. So there are some guys available that have decent enough matchups. But O.J., I would just stick with Howard. Vance McDonald, it's really weird. He really didn't play last week, and he went through
Van Etten.
Yeah, they just. I mean, he was active,
and they're starting Dante Handkerchiefs as their quarterback.
Dante Handkerchiefs.
Come on, dude. Come on.
So low on him.
He's terrible.
We had this discussion. He said he was terrible. He looked pretty good.
No, he didn't.
If it wasn't for
making it up,
if it wasn't for Marlon making a great play, he takes him down the field and they win the game.
Downfield throw he made fluttered like this. He's not.
You just have to throw the tightest spiral.
Correct. I do. I'm amazing.
I'm just telling you. I mean,
I bet he
Anyway.
wouldn't have thrown the paper ball in the trash earlier like I
Probably
did, where
not.
I hit it off both.
I would
balls.
just roll with Howard if it were me. I saw him on waiver
Would you
wires this
pick up
week.
Howard if he's on
Yeah,
waiver
yeah.
wires?
I tried to in a couple of leagues this week. Was not successful.
Is it worth picking up? By the way, this is a game that I'm trying to stay away from. Is it worth picking up Washington's defense against Miami? This has been the play all year long, right? Like, play the defense going up against the Dolphins.
Sure, why not?
Really?
Wait, why not? They have the one thing that the Skins do have is a pass rush. So look, I'm playing the Dolphins in a league against the Redskins.
I understand but this is the danger to me. Is
but
that
this
like,
is what
they're both so bad.
they're both so bad.
that
So
they
somebody,
might end up being good.
Somebody's got to win the game.
I understand
They
that.
both can. I mean, if this is 3-3, both quarterbacks are turning the ball over and getting sacked. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's a great deal. They've
I
improved
would.
The defense.
There are worse options out there this week than the Washington Redskins. The
All
Washington
right.
Redskins with Kerrigan and Krupp, they rush the passer.
From John Little Rock, James White or Austin Eckler?
Oh,
I think that's got to be Eckler.
I mean, you got to be
right?
Eckler
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, right. And again,
he had 16 targets and 15 catches.
God bless. God bless. This is it might be too generic. He says, I want to play Tate since the Giants have so many players out tonight, but against New England, it seems like a bad idea.
Well,
Who are your
of course,
options?
Who are your options? But this
Right.
is we talked about this a little bit when we talked about the Giants. It's like you have got to think that Tate is getting 10+ targets tonight. I couldn't even name the other guys.
Well, that's going to handle a lot of the other questions that I have.
I couldn't even name other guys that they're throwing the ball to. I don't know who their tight end is tonight. Who's he throwing
the ball to John Hillman? That's what
Yeah,
they're doing.
I mean, you're dumping off the Hillman. Who they have? They have Slayton. Is that?
Yeah.
They have Slayton.
Wait, Slayton. Who's Slayton?
Darius
Slayton.
Who? I thought you meant Steve Slayton. I'm like,
No,
Steve
Darius
Slayton's
Slayton.
back in the NFL.
He's the backup.
Nobody
running back,
tell
right?
me.
I don't.
Or a wide receiver.
Wide
Must be a
receiver.
wide
He's a wide
receiver,
receiver.
yeah. I think Kenny's the backup running back.
I've got to think that Tate. They have a plan in place now to just do quick little dump offs to Tate. So if you're in a PPR, I think he's very viable. But in a vacuum, I don't know who else you have.
Also wants to know if Latavius Murray is worth rostering.
I said no 3 weeks ago, and I'll stand by it.
Okay. Golden Tate or Deontay Johnson? I guess your answer is going to be the same.
Well, I'll go with your thing. I think Tate gets more targets, so I'm going to go with Tate this week.
I mean, first of all, I'm not playing anybody until the Steelers have a quarterback. I'm not doing that. And secondarily, I think your point is well received, which is who else? Now, if your answer is, well, that's who the Patriots are going to take away, right? Like, this is the flip side argument is
I know.
you're looking, if you're the Patriots and you're trying to do the thing where you say, hey, there's one guy we're going to take out of the game. Well, when you look at that roster, it's pretty obvious that would be Golden Tate, and they're pretty good at doing that.
They're good at doing it, but they're just got it.
This is the tricky part, right? The Patriots pass defense.
But against Deontay Johnson, even with a semi-decent quarterback, was only getting 5-6 targets. I still think Tate's the better play here. I mean, neither one are in my top, 40. Let's be honest.
Is there somebody that would be out there that could be a better option as I have a league where I was planning on playing Golden Tate tonight. Here, I'll tell you who's on the waiver wire.
Alden Tate.
You would rather play Auden Tate
Than either one of them, absolutely. Against the Ravens, God, yes. Give me that.
That's a fair argument.
Give me that. Give me that.
All right, hang on a second. Let me see if Auden Tate's available before I get all excited about this. I understand what you're saying about the Ravens' pass defense.
Would you
He is available.
Yeah.
play Damian Williams over McCoy, I assume, this week?
I think you have to based on
Right.
usage last week. I mean, it shocked me last week, very honestly.
Well, pass protection seems to be the differentiating thing here.
But I mean, he out touched him, he out carried him. I mean, you have to.
Tell me whether I'm playing the Eagles or the Seahawks defense so I can figure out which.
Seahawks.
So I'm dropping the Eagles defense to get Auden Tate then.
Yeah.
Chris Thompson or Damian Williams?
PPR.
Half point. I'm leaning Damian still.
Yeah. God, it's so. It is. It's Damian. It is. It is. Chris Thompson is tough. I know he's playing Miami. I have him higher at as high as I've had him all year.
The game could simultaneously be a Peterson game,
It just. Yeah, it
Do
could.
we have they talked about that at all? Like
They
whether or
did.
not
They said who's the guy?
Callahan's
Callahan
the guy.
said they have to run the ball more, and they have to be successful running the ball more.
He
Otherwise,
effectively
the offense
said that the only important thing is the number of times you run the ball, not how effective you are at running it.
Yeah, you got to. He won't be there long.
Well, I mean, you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Has anyone ever fired an interim coach in season? Has that ever happened in football
he'll
history?
just go back to his.
No, I understand at the end of the year, but how hilarious would it be if they actually fired the interim coach too?
Well, all bets are off if they lose to Miami.
I hear that. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, from Dave. Dave wants to know, this is Jameis Winston or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like Winston this week.
I liked him last week. Didn't feel so great about that decision making.
Well, he's an every other week quarterback.
Is that what it is? I can just count on every other week?
Seems like he's an every other week, and he's a home quarterback. It's like he doesn't like to play on the road.
This is that damn London thing.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm really struggling with it. I don't
have it close enough. I don't have Garoppolo in my top 15 this week.
Really? You don't think
on the road against the Rams?
But you don't think that's a shootout type of game?
It could be.
I feel like that's a high scoring type of game.
Could be.
I am really prejudiced against specifically 9:30 a.m. London games. I'm just really prejudiced against those games.
I'm with you.
It's a tough thing for me. From Rob, it says he needs a flex. Tate or Hilleman? Would you tell him to go try to get Auden Tate? Is that what you're going to tell him to do?
No, I mean, I'll go Hillman in this case, because I think even though they're going to feed Tate, I mean, they've got to run the ball. They've got to do something with Hillman. He's got to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 touches tonight. They have nothing else. So I'll go with the upside. Maybe they get on the goal line with a pass interference and he runs one in.
From Chris, Terry McLaurin or Josh Gordon?
Gordon, if he goes, you got to watch it. I mean, I like the best part about the Dolphins is their secondary. I'll go McLaurin.
And then McLaurin.
You mean you'd go
Gordon?
I mean Gordon.
Right, and then McLaurin or Olsen for a flex. Olsen did like nothing last week, didn't he?
2 weeks in a row. But I
don't think it's that tough, is it?
It really is, because he's been so bad.
But McLaurin, I mean, I'm saying McLaurin only didn't play. It's not like he was ineffective.
Well, he played.
He played briefly. But who was the quarterback?
Last week it was
McCoy. And then,
we don't even know who the quarterback is.
Keenum's expected to be the quarterback.
Yeah, it's because the whole thing with Olsen, because it's been 2 weeks. I'm going to go McLaurin.
McLaurin still had 51 yards and 3 catches last week.
It's not great. I mean, neither situation is great, but we'll go. Hopefully, that's a game that surprises us all.
Deontay Johnson or Mecole Hardman?
I'm going to go Mecole over that. I really don't. I really want to try to stay away from anybody but Juju and Connor in Pittsburgh right now.
And dog, you got to sell me on that. Is that one where you would tell that person again to go get Auden Tate? How do you feel? I mean, I just don't.
I like Auden Tate this week. I liked him last week.
How do you feel about Mecole Hardman?
You know how I feel about Mecole.
Yeah, I mean, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you right now. I have Hardman 3 spots over Tate. So I would say Hardman over Tate. Have to be true to my rankings right
Brian, now. John Hilleman, Adrian Peterson, or Miles Sanders?
Anybody have a hat?
I'm really frustrated by Sanders. I don't think I can keep.
Anybody have a hat? I mean, the problem with Sanders is he's looked good when he's been given the opportunity, but the Howard thing isn't going away. I mean, they're all in the same, and this is the problem. I mean, Hillman.
You're rolling with John Hillman. That's
your
guy.
I look at Peterson. I don't know if he's got anything left. Sanders is in a timeshare in a bad matchup on the road in Minnesota. Give me. I am banking on this being 21-0 at the start, in the middle of the second quarter.
I hear you.
That's the Hillman play for me.
I understand. Hey, need groceries today but don't have time to shop? Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient. Again, you guys got to tell me something else. This is from Ed. Ed says, how do you feel about the Ravens defense against the Bengals?
in a vacuum, the Bengals are one of the
by the way,
four worst teams
right.
in the NFL.
There's one league where I'm looking at that as an option.
And they're an option. The backside of this is
The
they
Ravens
don't
defense-
have a pass rush,
Right.
and they've been trashed by quarterbacks that right now we don't think are any good.
So for example, there's a league where I was looking at the Ravens, right? Here are the other options. Washington, Denver, Dallas, Miami.
And you got to play the Ravens out of that group.
That's what I thought.
You have to play the Ravens out of that group. Look, I think what I saw, something like the Bengals have given up the third most sacks in the NFL, something like that. Like they've given up 20.
Oh, their offensive line is atrocious.
It's atrocious. So they've got to fix it. Maybe this guy that they got from the Colts is the answer. I don't know. But the Ravens are a good play at home. They have to be this week.
All right. From Ryan wants to know, I know he's not playing this week, but is it worth trying to stash Zay Jones? What do you think of his value now that he's in Oakland?
It wasn't no.
Okay. All right. That's
Not for
that
me.
handles- that
I mean,
handles that.
there are a lot of other guys I'd rather stash than Zay Jones right now.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't know. I also don't know who their second receiver is in Oakland.
I mean, he does the same thing as
They just traded
as
for
Renfro, right?
They just
Yeah.
Tyrell Williams and Zay Jones.
Tyler
so he's
Williams.
their second receiver.
He's
That's
their
what we
second
just said. Yeah.
Well,
that's
they
what-
have that guy from Hard Knocks,
what?
They don't-
Doss, Mike Doss, I think his name is.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, it just nobody has caught passes there outside of Waller and Williams. So, and they want to run the ball 20 times. So, even if I think Zay Jones is good, which I don't, by the way, how many targets are we talking about a week?
No, I
When
hear you. Right.
all the opportunities go, he's the fourth option at best. So, how many plays are we running for Zay Jones?
Okay.
So, no, he's not a stash.
And they're not
for me.
getting blown out every week.
No, they're
Right,
not.
to where they have
And
to
they're
throw the ball
actually
100
winning
times.
football games at times because the NFL makes no sense.
That is absolutely true. All right. Anything else that we need to know going into week 6?
The Herndon thing, we kind of glossed over it, but people who were listening to me and went out and got him because he was coming back, he strained a hamstring
good in
and
theory.
not going to play. Who knows when that's going to happen? Sam Darnold is back, so that can't hurt. It'll be interesting to see Sam Darnold with Crowder for the first time. So we'll see if that goes, and also if it brings some life back into Robbie Anderson. I'm actually interested to see how that whole offense clicks now that Darnold's back. I know a lot of people will forget about the Jets in a sense, but they should have some relevancy now.
A lot like how I forgot about Dre. Very similar. All right. Want to remind everybody to catch all the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where they have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports. And don't forget, KZ is going to be with me again for Project Game Day, the post-game show this Sunday.
Could be the most epic show ever.
Oh, I mean,
it could be.
I don't even want to think about that
It
scenario.
just could be.
I just don't
Just-
want to
just-
think about it. But he'll be here.
Even if it's close, it's going to be a massive must-see.
He came in wearing his shirt last week. He came in. He was ready to go, man.
Ready to
He
go.
was ready to go. But we'll be doing that again post-game this Sunday for Project Game Day after Baltimore-Cincinnati. All right, at Fans Fantasy on Twitter is how they follow you. PressBoxOnline.com is how they see all your stuff. If we didn't miss your question somehow, you can get it in on Twitter.
And DFS lineups are now up. They were
Okay.
a little late today, but they are now up.
All right, check that out at PressBoxOnline.com. We will see you tomorrow morning for Glenn Clark Radio. KZ will be back next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Thank you very much. This has been the PressBox Fantasy Football Show.